Teleporters are really useful for moving things around.
What do you know?
Yeah, I know. You know. So, here's the deal.
First, let's go over exactly how teleporters work.
We know!
I know! You know. I know. I got it. I got the concept.
Today, we're gonna just take a deep dive. I'll talk about how teleporters work, and then we'll go into more advanced tech, ways to use teleporters that aren't super obvious. In order to get to advanced tech, first, let's go over exactly how teleporters work. Teleporters have two parts. You have a teleport entrance and a teleport exit nodon. Teleport entrances have an ID, A through H, which corresponds also to an ID on teleport exits, also A through H. For each letter ID, you can have as many teleport entrances as you want with that ID, but you can only have one exit with that ID. Teleporters can have shapes and sizes, but the other very important feature is exactly what type of objects it will be allowed to teleport. This way, a teleporter can distinguish between different types of teleporting targets. If it has no input, a teleport entrance will constantly teleport things, but if you have any sort of input, then it'll wait for a non-zero input in order to send things over. Teleporters ignore whether or not the object that they're teleporting is movable or not. When a teleporter teleports something, it'll always send it straight to the center of the teleport exit, and it doesn't matter how it was rotated before, its rotation will be fixed based on the rotation of the exit. If you rotate the teleport exit, then anything that you teleport will be rotated just with the teleport exit itself. If you try to teleport a connected object, the entire thing will come along for the ride. If the object is connected, the teleporter will only actually teleport that connected object if one of the relevant parts that the teleporter can activate is actually touching the teleporter. So here, even though the cheerleader on the left could activate the teleporter, the entire connected object only comes over if the cheerleader actually touches the teleporter. When you teleport a connected object, it will always be teleported to the center of the object at the bottom of the chain. This is the one that's the parent for the entire connected object. This parent is going to go to the center of the teleport object exit, no matter what. And you can see that here, where we are teleporting the middle of the traveler or the middle of the blue block, regardless of which is the object that's actually triggering the teleporter to go off. Let's focus on the settings for the teleport exit. For the teleport exit, there are two main modes: preserve momentum and reset momentum. In preserve mode, the object will have the exact same momentum that it had when it went through the entrance of the teleporter. So here, you see that that cheerleader falls straight down through and gains more and more speed every time it falls through that teleporter. Furthermore, in preserve mode, this momentum gets rotated with the teleport exit. So here, that will completely change the direction of the cheerleader. If we instead choose reset mode, then the object will come out of that teleporter with no speed. Reset mode also unlocks the launch speed and launch direction options. So here, if I set launch speed to 15, then when the object goes through the teleporter, it'll have all of its speed replaced with just 15 meters per second. And that is in whatever direction we defined. If I instead set launch direction to X+, then when the cheerleader goes through, it'll be moving in the X+ direction. Keep in mind that you can separately tune the launch direction from the rotation. So here I can have a cheerleader that goes headfirst to the right of the screen. If you try to teleport something and you don't have an exit, then it'll just disappear. Keep in mind that this does not count as destruction, so this does not trigger a destruction sensor. Lastly, remember that you can attach teleport exits and entrances to items. That's it for how teleporters work. Let's talk advanced tech. Teleporters that are constantly being activated can be used as kind of connections between objects that you can freely swap between by activating different teleporters. Here, I'll show you what that means. So let's say I have 3 person nodons over here. I have person E, F, and G. And let's say that I want a system where I can bring the game screen to one person and then swap between people, back and forth. How can I do this? Well, I could use a bunch of location sensors and then use math to send the game screen to each of these persons. But we can also do this a lot more intelligently. Here, instead, I'm going to have a tracking ball. This tracking ball has the game screen attached to it. With this typical marker nodon setup, I'm going to activate a different teleporter constantly, depending on exactly how many times I press that L bumper. So there I can consistently activate teleporter E, F, or G. This will send a tracking ball that has the game screen on it to the desired person. Let's see that in action. Here, I'm looking at the red person. Swap over to the blue, to the green, back to the red. So here I can have a complete character select. You could also potentially swap different accessories. So here, for example, I have a person with teleporters E, F, and G on him, and I have separately a sphere, box, and cylinder that each get activated separately. For example, here this person has a sphere, then a box, then a cylinder on him. Sphere, box, cylinder. And just remember to teleport them back when you're done. Another obvious use case is to use teleporters as launchers for connected objects. So here, you just put a connected object with its own teleport entrance, and you trigger that whenever you want to launch it. I see people request launchers for connected objects all the time. It's like, bro, just use a teleporter. Seriously. You obviously can't spawn new connected objects from nothing because, memory issues, etc. But you have the technology right here. Just use the teleporter. Furthermore, you can use a teleport exit in reset mode, attach to the same object that has also the same teleport entrance in order to change its momentum to whatever it is you want. So here, reset mode with 0 launch speed. This can be very useful for blocking out the effects of, let's say, bouncing when you collide with a surface. You can also give launch speed instead. So here, for example, my person doesn't have a jump, but I can use that teleport exit to automatically send him up with a certain speed, and also completely cancels out whatever sideways momentum he had. Furthermore, we can use a teleporter to very quickly rotate an object by a fixed angle. So here, this hinge is set to exactly 90 degrees in Y, no matter what. So what happens is that every time I press the button to activate the teleporter, we rotate that die by exactly 90 degrees in Y. This can be useful to rotate objects by fixed angles when they're completely freely moving. Objects that are sometimes otherwise kind of hard to rotate. Furthermore, if you put a teleport exit attached to the end of an object that's connected to the main object, then you can implement a motion similar to a dash that moves that object around a very fixed amount of distance. Of course, you can have a variable distance or angle by feeding numbers into a slider and having teleport exit on the opposite side. This works just fine. Just be mindful that if the base object can move around, then by Newton's third law, every time you move that slider around, so will the other object. One useful method is to move a teleport exit around using a free slider to a fixed immovable anchor point. This way, you don't have any issues and you can teleport something to a specific coordinate. Just remember that the teleporter is faster than whatever you put on a slider, so if you're teleporting on the same frame that you're moving the slider, then you can wind up somewhere that you did not expect. Teleporters are also very frequently used to set up checkpoints, so whenever a player loses their health or falls off the map, etc., then they'll just respawn right at the checkpoint. If you are interested in setups like these, just check out my video on checkpoint setups. You can also use teleport exits to function as location sensors for specific spots in a level. So here, for example, these AIs are designed to chase either the turnip, the fish, or the apple. And I'm using the teleporter to move these objects around to specific coordinates. In this way, I can more cleanly designate to each individual car exactly where it needs to steer. If you're interested in racing AI, go check out that video. But for reference, this is what that code looks like if you use location sensors instead, versus this. In broad strokes, that covers advanced tech. I hope this opened your eyes to some of the more advanced tech options available when using teleporters. If you like this content, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you around later. Bye!